Hi, this is Terry. I want to talk to you today about fight or flight, the three parts of the brain. Please note, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a biologist, so I don't have all the fancy words for you, but I'm going to give it to you in an easy to understand manner. So, children, teenagers, adults, it doesn't matter. We all have different parts of our brain that we use to engage in our world. So, we have a part in our brain that is just emotion. Then we have a part that's thinking, and we have a part that's fight or flight. Okay, there's fancy terms for them. I'm not even going to go there. But it's so important when our children are growing up, what part of the brain are they using? Are we teaching our children problem-solving skills? Are we teaching our children critical thinking skills? Are we teaching our children self-regulation so they manage their emotions? Because you think about it, fight or flight was meant for defense, right? I'm scared, I'm afraid, something bad is going to happen. So children who are consistently in abusive homes are probably living in their fight and flight. So no matter what happens, that's the response they go to. They go, oh my God, okay, am I safe? Do I need to hide? Do I need to run? What do I need to do? Do I need to fight? So in the schoolroom, in your home, in the daycare room, wherever you are, if there's a child that perceives his life as being trauma, sometimes the perception is very real, where there is life and death situations. Sometimes it's just the child perceives everything as a negative toward themselves, even though parents try really hard. So it can be a multitude of things. But you think about a child that's living in fight or flight. And as a schoolroom teacher, you go walk up to their desk and you're like, I need you to get that done or you're going to the principal. Okay, they think in fight or flight. So right now, you just started a war with them that they either win or they lose. So they're going to respond most of the time with a negative comment or retaliate or get angry, have a tantrum. So kids in fight or flight, they will try, it's a survival mode. So they're going to respond in whatever mechanism they have learned to survive in life. These are kids that you're going to find that probably steal, take things at school, have difficulty making friends, possibly could be bullies in school, have a hard time learning, have a hard time, that relationship piece. And you know what? As a teacher, most of the time, these are the kids you're not going to like. They're going to be really hard to work with because they don't know how to be social. They don't know how to respond like we think regular kids should. So they can be very difficult. So when you think about a child then that responds to everything emotionally, let's say they live in the emotional side of their brain. So no matter what happens, they think, how does this make me feel? How is that going to affect someone's life or the way you deal with them when everything you do, they go right to how it makes them feel? You hurt their feelings. You made them feel bad. Children like that can be in attack mode where they're going to attack back and tell you, well, you're ugly. I hate you. You're stupid. Because they're doing emotions where we need children to be most of the time, because I think we're all, I don't care who you are, we're all in different parts of our brain, but we want our children to be in the thinking part of their brain. So what did I learn from this is the question. When something happens, they ask themselves, what did this teach me? Right? We want them to think about it. We want them to problem solve, not go emotional on us, not go into fight or flight, so that they can make good decisions as they grow up. And we are teaching problem solving and critical thinking. Children will stay more in the thinking part of their brain. And those are the kids that can make those decisions. So they're at a party when they're 16. Someone says, hey man, let's go do some pot or let's do meth. They're going to go into the thinking part of their brain and they're going to be like, no, that would be stupid. Where the kids in emotional or survival are more apt to do some of that stuff because they are not balancing out how to make judgments, how to problem solve, think long term. What are the consequences of this? So how do we teach our children critical thinking? That's the big question of the day, because I think it is like one of the top things that our kids need to know to survive in this world and actually succeed and be happy. They need to know how to problem solve, critical think, be in the thinking part of their brain. And it can start when they're young. Let them make decisions. Oh, I know. Isn't that scary? That sounds like it would just kids making decisions. But you know what? Why can't a 2-year-old make a decision of, do you want orange juice or grape juice? Do you want to wear your coat or carry it? You know, as parents, sometimes we have such control issues, or we worry so much about what other people think of us, that we're willing to have a battle with our child that we don't need to have. An example would be, so it's winter time out, right? Our brains go to, our kids got to have their coat, gloves, hat, boots on, or what are people going to think? You know, what's going to happen to our child? But when you look at it from a logical standpoint, if your child's having this big tantrum because they don't want to wear their coat, what is wrong with saying you can either wear it or you can carry it? Will they die on the way to the car because they don't have their coat on? Is this a battle we really need to have? And you know what? What could they learn from this if you let them make the choice and they choose to just carry their coat, and by the time you get to the car, they're all like, brr, it's so cold out here. Maybe next time they'll wear their coat, right? You let them have some power. Our children need to have power to grow into healthy people. If someone is always controlling us and telling us what to do, who's going to do that when they're 16 at the party and you're not there? When children learn to always do and never make decisions, they become followers, and somebody is going to tell them what to do. Do you want that to be your child? And how do we teach those skills to the broken children, the shadow children that have never been taught them as young children? You can start letting them make decisions. One of my favorite things to do, kids love to be naughty in restaurants. They do. So you choose a place that you absolutely hate, like Chuck E. Cheese. Great example. Absolutely, I despise Chuck E. Cheese. So I had some foster kids once in my care that we could never go anywhere with them because they would never sit. They were up and down, and it just was too hard. So I decided to try this. So I got ready. We're going to Chuck E. Cheese. Here's the deal. If you don't stay in your seat, we're leaving. Because you know what? I don't have a problem leaving Chuck E. Cheese. You don't want to go somewhere you love and then not want to leave. Make sure you're going somewhere you don't care if you leave. So we go to Chuck E. Cheese, sit down. They did well for about 8 minutes before the food came, because there was no games until the food came. And they started getting down and being naughty. So I'm like, okay, we're done. We're leaving. I paid the bill, did not take the food, don't care. We are teaching a lesson here, right? Critical thinking, problem solving. There has to be consequences for these kids. We left. Yes, they had a tantrum. They cried. I waited till they calmed down, and I explained to them, when we go to a restaurant, we sit. When we're done eating, then you can go play the games. I need them to learn to manage their own behavior. And they're not going to do that unless I give them the choice and teach them some problem-solving skills. And they get that through making choices. I'd rather have them make a poor choice when they're young and I can protect them than wait till they're drunk driving and get killed because they don't know how to make the choices and I'm not there to protect them anymore. So anyway, a few months go by, we go back to Chuck E. Cheese. They lasted longer this time, but never quite made it. We had to leave again. Waited a couple weeks, went back to Chuck E. Cheese. They made it all the way through the meal, got to play their games. We were able to go out more often. Sometimes you have to, really be tough when you teach things and it seems silly. Or a child's having a tantrum in Walmart. Do you want to walk out of the store? Do you want me to carry you? But we're leaving. Leave the cart. Who cares? Quit worrying so much about what people think of you. This is not about you. When you have kids who are abused or have trauma and experience the world in a different way, you cannot take it personal. Especially as a foster parent, it is not about you. You cannot fix this child overnight. It takes time. And when you start taking it on too much and too personal, you're going to have an overload of your own emotions and you're not going to be successful. So your own problem solving needs to step up. Your own critical thinking needs to step up. Same with teachers. When you're out there and you're working with these difficult kids, if you're taking it personal and bringing that emotion into you, you will never be able to help these children. You're just going to make them take a step back from you and you're just one more bad person, one more big people that does not take care of them.